This is going to be an updated video on my thoughts and opinions on Bitcoin and the current cycle. So just to preface, right, as I say before in all my other videos, I don't really hold any Bitcoin. I have $1 that I got from doing a Robinhood like crypto lesson or something like that. But otherwise, I'm not holding any crypto. I don't care if you make money. I don't care if you lose money. I don't really have a dog in the race, so I don't really care. But I just wanted to kind of have my thoughts and opinions as someone standing on the side. I do look into it, right? It's really it's some information, some type of data that I like to look at to see where the market is, how much excess money is in the economy, because most people, if they're not putting it in stocks and they're not putting it into like necessities, I don't know, like food, water, shelter, right? Then they're probably putting it into some other investment like stocks or crypto. I wanted to update my thoughts. So on my previous video that I posted on the 28th, I had believed that, or I had noted that I believe that we just hit the top, and that I don't think that, like, maybe the top of the cycle, and I don't know if we'll be able to break that top anytime during this current cycle. At that point I had noted a few reasons why. For example, I said that we don't really have any more crypto catalysts, because this pump right here was from Trump getting elected, right, November 5th, right, and Trump being the crypto king or crypto president, and then there's that pump. You have the MicroStrategy buying more Bitcoin here. There were a few other reasons why I just can't remember them off the top of my head. But then I noted that because MicroStrategy had finished buying, and also this was already priced in, all these other things were already priced in for Bitcoin. And you also saw that MicroStrategy's stock was they were no longer going as fast as they were, right? They were no longer going as high as they were. And I mentioned that MicroStrategy for some people might be seen as a call option on Bitcoin. So when you have less people buying call options on asset, then there's less speculation that the asset will go higher, right? Same thing as a stock. If you have more calls than puts, then more people are speculating that that asset will go higher than lower. Now, I did not know that MicroStrategy would be able to get more liquidity by diluting their company to high heaven, and then they just continue buying, right? So that's kind of what this pump is. All those news articles, all those events aside, here are my thoughts. So just looking at technical analysis, you do kind of see this head and shoulders, right? If you squint really tightly, you kind of see the shoulder, this head and the shoulder, right? So it's an inverse head and shoulders. So usually that's bullish. It'll go like this and then hit the head, hit the second shoulder, and then it'll rise up, right? So this is usually pretty bullish, as opposed to regular head and shoulders, which would look like this: shoulder, head, shoulder, and then that will usually go back down, right? So technically speaking, it's pretty good, right? It looks pretty bullish. And you also might have more demand, more people trying to buy the stock or buy the cryptocurrency, when you have people like Ryan Cohen, who was taking pictures, or who took a picture with Michael Saylor. So that could be something bullish for Bitcoin. But I still, like, all that news aside, in mind, I still believe that, I feel that we still have already peaked, right? I could be dead wrong, right? Like we could this could be a wedge right here, right? You could, what the hell? This could be a wedge right here, and then you have another one about maybe like there, and then we could pop out, right? We could go to the moon from here, right? But if you look, my only problem is I've been keeping up with Bitcoin for a while, right? I don't necessarily hold it or buy it. I have $1, as I said before. I have $1 in Bitcoin, or like one something after it appreciated a little bit. But then otherwise, I don't really hold Bitcoin. And so I wanted to know some problems that I have with this. It's namely just who is buying Bitcoin right now, right? So it's two things, right? The first one, who is buying Bitcoin? The only person I see notably buying Bitcoin is Michael Saylor or Strategy now. And the biggest issue that I have is, it's fine if you are one of the many buyers, but it seems like, just from the chart and the way things line up, it seems like Michael Saylor is the only one buying Bitcoin. Why do I say that? You notice this trend, right? You notice this dip right here. Do you know what happened to this dip right here? This is February 2nd, the week of February 2nd, right? Yeah, week of February 2nd, all the way until, so it's just like, yeah, that week. this was the exact week that Michael Saylor said, I'm not buying Bitcoin, or I'm going to hold off on buying Bitcoin for a while, right? And then it dropped to hella low, all the way to 90K, and then he continues buying Bitcoin afterwards, right? So if the week that Michael Saylor stops buying Bitcoin, it drops this dramatically, only to rebound after he buys it again, who is buying Bitcoin other than Michael Saylor, right? That is a big problem if he's the only one buying. Additionally, I feel like if you look at the volume is actually really low, and I feel that Michael Saylor, you see his I think he posts on Twitter or posts on X, and you see the amount of Bitcoin that he's buying. It's a sizable portion to the weekly volume. It is a sizable percentage of the weekly volume. So that's also what kind of scares me. Like, if he's the only person buying, that's not that great for Bitcoin. But additionally, I also want to note that recently, from all the news articles, it seems like it's meme coin season. It's altcoin season. I believe that when it's meme coin season, shitcoin season, altcoin season, whatever you want to call it, I think that marks the beginning of the end for the current cycle. Why do I say that? So there's multiple people that are interested in buying Bitcoin, right? There's the people that are actually buying it for long-term holding. And then there's the people that are speculating, right? Thinking that Bitcoin will go higher. When people no longer see that Bitcoin really has as much momentum or is as likely to go up as much as they had previously believed, then I think that those people, instead of looking at stocks, instead of looking at other things, they're more prone to looking at other types of cryptocurrencies that have a possibility of rocket ship emojiing, right? Those of mooning. And that's when they start to look at shitcoins, right? You look at the Trump, the Melania, the Libra, all those other weird coins, like the Haktua coin. I mean, for the love of God, if you bought Haktua, you deserved it, okay? But why? But all those people that are speculating in those coins that literally have no use. They're just there. They're literally there just to rinse other people of their money, and people are buying into that, hoping that they won't be the last one out, right? They're listening to the music, and they're crowded at the door, and then the moment anything happens, they're bouncing, but then most of the time they all lose. And I believe that when it's meme coin season, I think that marks the beginning of the end of the current cycle. I could again be dead wrong. I am not necessarily a Bitcoin expert, but I have been keeping track of Bitcoin, the movements, for quite some time now, right? We go back to this chart, and you do see, as I showed before in my daily, it is possible that we are on this wedge, right? This could be a wedge, and we could rocket up, right? But again, I don't know what's holding it up, and if the only thing that's holding it up is the purchases from Michael Saylor, at that point he's buying from him. Where can it go if he's the only one buying, right? Like at a certain point, is he just tricking himself? Is he just is he? I don't know what to say, man. It's just the only buying volume is from Michael Saylor. Who else? I don't know, but also there's no more catalyst that I can think of. Obviously, there could be a black swan event that occurs anytime ever, right? So maybe something can come up whenever. But if you look at the economy and you see that people are actually losing purchasing power, right? You see inflation going up. Yeah, inflation going up. That could actually be a catalyst for Bitcoin, because people are thinking, oh, weaker dollar, I should hold something that actually will maintain value, something like Bitcoin. But when you don't even have enough money to buy your perishables, that you don't have enough money to buy actual things that you need to survive, you're not going to buy Bitcoin. You're not going to buy speculative assets. You're not even going to buy stocks, maybe, right? You're going to actually have to buy the food you need to survive, right? And that's also a problem. And when you see the amount of cuts that we're seeing, right? I don't see how people will have the money to buy speculative assets unless you're like super rich, right? But even then, those people have their own assets, and I don't know how many of them are going balls deep into Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. So I don't know. I guess too long didn't read. I should have put this in the, or too long didn't watch. I should have put this in the beginning. I just believe that cryptocurrency, or specifically Bitcoin in this case, I think that it has still topped. That's just going to be my prediction. Again, I could be dead wrong. This is not financial advice whatsoever, but it's just, I don't see what other catalysts can occur. And I just also see that from the way that the chart is moving and from the current events that line up, right, with Michael Saylor, with meme coin, I feel that people are losing hope, or losing the belief that Bitcoin has anywhere higher to go, because otherwise they wouldn't be investing in meme coins. They would be investing in Bitcoin. It's the same thing as when people compare like putting your money into buying treasury bonds versus putting your money into buying stocks, right? If in one case you can have guaranteed 2% versus guaranteed, or a possibility of like a 6% or 7%. Well, a lot of the times people would choose the riskier 6% over the guaranteed 2% just because the margin is that much wider, right? But if you have, let's say, guaranteed 4% interest on your money in buying a bond or buying some type of money fund, versus you have a possible 6% on stocks, right? In that case, then more people would want to buy the money fund, the market money fund, or the treasury bonds, because that's guaranteed. And I'd rather just not hold the risk for the extra measly 2% margin, right? So it's the same type of thing when you're deciding between Bitcoin versus meme coin, right? If you believe that Bitcoin long term is going to hold, but you have this possibility of making more money in meme coins, right? Then that choice is still kind of there. That's just my opinion. That's just what I think. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Bitcoin, on what I think about it, and kind of an updated thesis on what I had before. Only real material change is that MicroStrategy, or now Strategy, got the dilution, right? They got extra liquidity to buy more Bitcoin, and in my opinion, they're the only thing holding it up. That's what it boils down to, in my opinion. That's it. Those are my thoughts on Bitcoin, where I think we are in the current crypto cycle. Have a good day. Bye.